let's head back now to that breaking news story from the House of Commons and the assisted dying bill that has been passed. It's gone to its first stage of its journey towards being law, and the vote passed with a majority of 55, with Sir Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves and Rishi Sunak all voting in favour of that bill. And joining me now to discuss this further is the cancer patient and the former pastor, Philip, who is against the bill. Philip, welcome to the show. So the ayes have it, 330 to 275. The State-Assisted Suicide Act, as Danny Kruger called it, is a step towards becoming law. Philip, may I ask you for your thoughts on that?
Well, quite frankly, I was disgusted that doctors will be able to suggest to somebody that they commit suicide. I mean, that's awful. I mean, if I went up to somebody in the street now and said, I don't like your behaviour, I suggest you commit suicide, I'd expect the police to come and grab me. So the concept that you can pick on somebody who is ill, either mentally or physically or in whatever way, who obviously therefore is going to be feeling very vulnerable, and say, by the way, have you thought of suicide? Because why are you suggesting that? I mean, being blunt, is that not just for financial reasons? I mean, we could save the NHS a fortune if you stop giving people heart tablets. You could save the NHS a fortune if you stop treating cancer. You could save a fortune. So why not then drop it down to somebody who's 40 years of age, who's got, say, cancer or has a heart complaint? Why don't you just stop their treatment? Think of the thousands of pounds you'll save. So I find that very, very frightening. The second thing is the fact that it robs people of the life that God intends them to have. I mean, I can tell you of a friend of mine who is now 67, and when I was talking to her about a fortnight ago, she said, had this bill existed when I was 60, I would have committed suicide. She said, because between the ages of 20 and 60, I was in and out of psychiatric wards and having psychiatric treatment. And then for whatever reason, whether you believe that God answered prayer or whatever, said suddenly at 60, all that left, said I've had 17 wonderful years with my husband. She'd have lost that. And then my wife and I were out walking one day, and one of our neighbours knew that I'd been given this horrible news. And so she rushed out to say, what was the latest? And I told her, praise God, according to the latest report, the lump is not growing, it's still stable. And she was so thrilled to bits that she invited us in. She told us her partner was given 6 months to live 27 years ago. So just think if those people had committed suicide, what they'd have lost. And once you start, I mean, I also think, I mean, you'll have seen Liz Carr's documentary, no doubt. But I mean, that poor fellow in, for instance, Canada, he couldn't afford the rent. So what was suggested? You commit suicide. And he was actually due to commit suicide. Unfortunately, one of his friends heard that he was due to commit suicide. I think it was about 2 days before he was due to commit suicide. And they raised money for him. And so he then, a year later, celebrated the date of his death because he was able to pay his bill. So I think from a purely human aspect, it's terrible. If you think of the religious aspect, God's given us this life. It's the best life that we have. He loves us very much. And when we live in the year 2024, which means historically speaking, we recognise that Jesus was born, died, and rose again from the dead. Now,
Philip,
the fact that he rose again from the dead means he's unique.
Philip,
Yeah.
if I may interject and put the counterpoint to you, because of course a lot of people have been campaigning for a long time, including Esther Ranson, and the majority of parliamentarians did vote this through, which clearly you don't agree with, but they would argue it gives a degree of control and dignity and comfort. If people choose to go down that line, it's not compulsory to go down this line, so they believe that some people should have that choice.
The snag is, if you look at every country that's had it, the laws have been relaxed. They say it won't, but it always does. It's like with abortion in this country. First of all, when it came in, the doctors had opt-out clauses, so did the nurses. Now, if they opt out, wow, they can really hit it. And so it always gets watered down. Everything we do gets watered down. And so that's the worry. What would start as he's due to die in a week's time, he's in terrible agony. Okay, we'll help him now to, well, he's going to die sometime. So I want to be in control. That's actually the thing which comes out time and time again in that debate was control. It wasn't pain. And I don't know whether you've noticed, but in the recent taxation laws that have been passed, hospice care will not be treated the same as NHS care. So the national insurance costs will go up to hospices, which means there'll be less hospice spaces, less people will be able to treat you. That which the NHS should be providing, it's minimising. So rather than putting money into this, I mean, even West Streeting said it would take money away from the NHS if this was implemented. Don't take it away, put it into the NHS and provide the proper care. And that doesn't matter if it's a Labour government or a Conservative government or whatever government. Look after the vulnerable. I've paid taxes since I started work at 15. There wasn't an if or a but. You went to work. It wasn't a question you only did the job you wanted. You went to work. And I've paid taxes all my life in every sort of way. I still pay taxes. I'm still paying taxes today. And those taxes should be going for somebody to look after me, that when the time's needed, I can get proper care. And as the idea of doctors being able to talk to you and suggest that you can commit suicide, you might see the same doctor every day when you call him. Most people like me, one, they're very lucky if they get to see a doctor. Some people are waiting months to see a doctor. How crazy. When they do see the person, they've got 10 minutes. You've talked about two things. Sorry, we can't tackle a third thing. They're not in about wholeness. They're not about a limited specification of things. So what chance have you got of seeing a doctor who knows you, who knows your circumstances? Silch.
Philip, we're going to have to leave it there. Philip, forgive me, I'm smiling because I find it so wonderful talking to you. You're so eloquent, you're so passionate. And you have cancer, but you just seem so full of life. You seem so full of passion. And honestly, mate, it's been a true privilege to speak to you today. It really has. Thank you very, very much for sharing your thoughts and how you think.
Okay,
mate, cheers.
God bless you and all the hearers, including those who voted for it. God bless.
Well done, mate. Thank you very much for joining us on GB News. Wasn't that wonderful? I mean, what a topic. You know, it's such an emotive topic. There's a man, Phil, you know, who's got terminal cancer, just speaking with such passion and eloquence. I just sometimes feel so blessed to have this job. Thank you very much.